We have guest speakers today from far across the state. Cynthia and Tracy, if you want to come up. This is Cynthia Hamilton here in the front. Hi. So her bio is varied. She served in the U.S. Air Force as a crew chief on KC-135s during the Vietnam era. So you may think she's short, but she has a very big personality. She's been a dance teacher for over 30 years. She worked at Tektronix as a Fortune 50 company, which was a Fortune 50 company at the time, as a purchasing manager. She served 20 years on the Chase Youth Commission and Foundation. Proudly represented Spokane as a realtor since 1998. If you want a house in Spokane, see her afterwards. Lead the Women's March. She led the Women's March when it was dropped by the organizers, and in just 23 days she got it funded, got 10,000 people there. So I know you weren't alone. She has a lot of buddies, but she was the head of it. Thank you, Tracy. She's been a PCO for 10 years in the South Hill Precinct 6018. And a little feather for that precinct, they were number 4 for voter turnout for their whole county. 90% in the 2018 elections, and her precinct went from red to blue. This is Tracy Williams here. I guess you guessed that. She is a progressive who wants better representation for people in rural areas. Woo! Yeah. She also organizes for secure elections. She's worked on various campaigns. She loves meeting people and talking about issues. Tracy has organized with Indivisible Hawaii, Walla Walla Indivisible, Fuse, Western Washington Progressives, Women's March Spokane, and the Sunrise Movement. She wants excellent public schools, higher education that come without debt, the basis of a democratic society, that is for sure. She's also a member of the Network of Excellent Women of Walla Walla. This is a place with excellent women. My cousin-in-law lives there. The goal of new NEW is to train women who will run for office and how to run their campaigns. So maybe we should get Nizan to come to a training, even though he's not a woman. Her current projects are protest about the children at the border, thank you, with the National Teacher of the Year, and a boot camp for women with Lisa Brown and Christine Brown as keynote speakers. Yeah. I've been enjoying them as house guests, and I recommend having them. They're very easy to live with.
We picked up after ourselves. So pushing forward is some of this side. Okay, so I brought a few props here. When I first started out, of course,
you're gonna have to speak up because there's noise out here.
Close
sure.
the door.
Close the door.
We're recording.
Okay, sure. Hi, how are you? So when I first started out, of course, I was just a normal old lady, you know, in her yard trying to get the gardening going. And then we had some, you know, horrible elections and stuff, and so we started, you know, protesting, and I had to learn to like pink. Protest pink. So this is our latest shirt. Resist, persist, insist. Next year it's still pissed. Serious. Go ahead, steal it, make your own shirts, sell them, make some money. And you know, you have to be noticed and visible so people can know who. Go talk to her. You know? So anyway, those are some of the little tips about little leadership things that have come my way anyway. But the problem is when people notice who you are, they tell you, hey, they dropped the Women's March, you gotta pick this up. Okay. So what we've done past the most recent election, everybody was out there knocking on doors and making phone calls and texting and doing all that kind of stuff. You guys came over to help us in Spokane. Oh,
Thank
we're
you,
so
thank you.
not worthy. Oh, we're so not worthy. Thank you so much. Not really, you have no idea.
And people came to Walla Walla too, thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely. And so we know that there are areas where we have lots of support and areas where we need assistance and support. And one of the things too, that especially on the eastern side of the state, is that the carcass, the horse that is the Democratic Party, had desiccated to a part where it was barely a carcass. You could barely see it there. So we're trying to resurrect it and build and stuff. And how many of you guys are PCOs?
Excellent.
Good. That's great. Our count in our county is less than half of our our precincts even have a PCO.
That's
A
typical.
Democratic PCO. And yet, every single one of them, they run competitive races for their PCO precincts. You know, they're on the ballot because they're competing with each other. And, you know, we don't, anyways, different story. So, we're starting from behind the power curve, so we decided to build on the energy and the camaraderie and the connectedness that we'd started from 16 through 17 through 18, and we went, oh, and we still missed the mark by that much. And so we decided that what we needed to was to keep building the community and all of that kind of whatnot. So we decided, I'm gonna go on the other side so you can see, and I can point at you. So, democracy together. And this way, well, kind of what we did was, I'm an indivisible leader, okay, indivisible Spokane. We infiltrated the Democratic Party and got them to actually pay for the space where we hold these classes. And they managed, you know, we used the vote builder stuff and all of that to be able to get people who had been on the campaigns before, the volunteers, all the people who already know how to do this stuff. And what we're building now is this coalition of all these people, and they don't have to be Democrats. They can be anyone. Okay, so we have the DSA kinds, you know, the super lefties, and they have way to the right folks even, because they're concerned about healthcare. I mean, it's a weird coalition. We can have everybody participating in this, even at the Democratic headquarters. And we started thinking of it as like, yeah, that's us. As just being a big center. This is, you know, the county's this big, and here we are, we're meeting in the middle of it. Well, they have to come in from, you guys know it even worse than us, from all over the area to come into this area. But after they've gotten their training, what we've done is we've decentralized. They go to these classes, and we're talking about who's in the coalition and what are we doing, and this is the basic class that they're doing, and we build all this stuff, and we explain to them what we're doing. And I'm gonna go kind of fast forward through all this, because we've given this to you guys. Use it, steal it, appropriate it, change it, fix it, make it work for you guys, you know, or
Thank you.
yeah, so, because we're not proprietary, it's about saving the country. So, I mean, the brand is America, right? So, we're doing this kind of stuff, and this is where we get them to start talking with each other and figuring out, oh, I live in the 6th, oh, I live in the 6th, let's go meet. And so the 6th people get together, 6th LD, 4th LD, 3rd LD, because we have 5 LDs in our county. You guys have similar kind of thing, lots of condensation in one county and stuff. So, but anyway, so instead of everybody coming from all over the place, we start pairing them up geographically, so they don't have to travel so much anymore. So anyway, going through this, you know, we use some happy little pictures and stuff, and people talk about themselves. And then Democrats stand for, we talk about values, you know, so it doesn't have to be left or right or anything, but we do say Democrats stand for these things because we are using their space. And then, you know, we're just gonna flick through this. And the party structure, we kind of, we just tell them it's complicated and don't let it distract you. Get in and get out of the way. And did, you know, the grassroots kind of stuff, and we kind of explain how the precinct PCO and all that works. Well, if you've ever looked at the manual for how the PCO and what they're supposed to do, it's so complicated and there's so much to do, and a good PCO works their butt off. Well, not all of it. And so, you know, I mean, to get 90% turnout is a lot of effort. You gotta call, you gotta talk, you gotta walk, you gotta do all kinds of stuff. And it's too much for most people. They're working 2 or 3 jobs anymore just to keep their head above water and keep beans on the table, right? So you can't do that anymore. That model may not work for us. So what I kind of decided was they have PCO roles. So you have a meter, somebody who likes to go to meetings, a greeter, somebody who can, you know, get on the internet and connect with people, keep the emails current and all that kind of stuff. A walker, somebody who has a dog, preferably in your neighborhood, in the precinct, we would call them, and who has to go out and walk every day anyway, and get to know all the people. But this is a team you're building. Talkers, somebody can get on the phone, go, hi, how you doing today? How's your wife? You know, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, just stay connected, building community. And then the 5th person is what I call the replacement. Because, you know, we get old, we die, we get a new job, we have to move away, you know, something happens with a family. You can't just expect one person to do all the job. You need a team. It needs to be a community. They need to be close by each other. We know that's a precinct, but shh, don't tell anyone. And then share that work so everybody's not having to do all of it all by themselves. So anyway, our 2018 results were sad. Our victory party was, I didn't even go. Cause I knew it was gonna be there. And I just said, no, I'm sick. And I dodged that bullet, so.
We were all sick before the end of the night.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just went on ahead and I said, okay, so we have to get out of this, but we have this huge, wonderful, new, energized bunch of people. So we have to pick up the ball. So instead of just letting them die again, you know, the energy level die again until 2020, I went, no, let's gather everybody up again. So now we're starting to have these workshops. It took a little while to develop all this stuff, but we have these workshops, and we do in the center of the county, the Democratic headquarters. And now what we do is we're
Little
starting.
louder, Cynthia.
I'm sorry, yes. Now what we do is we go on ahead and we have off-site places, because we can use the virtual phone bank, right? So if you have a laptop and a telephone, you can have people come to your home or to your local library. So like you might live here, like I do, and you might live over here. Well, you wouldn't want to go all the time traveling, 30 or 40 miles. So you have separate, and then everybody who lives in your neighborhood can go to your home and make those phone calls. But these are already people who already know how to do phone calling. They already know phone banking. All this stuff is real friendly. You're just keeping those people engaged and available to maybe work on other candidates' stuff, because the 2019 elections are just as important. The local stuff is critical. So they're energized now. They're going out and they're forming all these groups, and each of these groups maybe starts off with 10 people, but like me, I'm a group leader, so I have like 30 different precincts on the South Hill. And my job in my mind is to get a PCO group in each of those 30 precincts. So that's what I'm doing when I'm not here. And hopefully then, when the filing deadline passes next week, we'll know who our candidates are, and then the people will already have been reached out to, and we'll be already in the canvassing, calling mode, and we're ready to go. And I'm hoping that if you can't do this right now and catch up to where we are, you may not need to quite as much over here, but we couldn't dare take a chance on having it drop down to the low energy levels, desiccated carcass stuff anymore. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at now, and just, yeah. So all of this stuff goes around, and we do all kind of stuff. Anything, humor, we use a lot of humor in our stories and all that kind of stuff. But basically all these things that we brought are just stuff for you to take and share and pick apart and use what you like and toss and all that kind of stuff. So that's what Democracy Together is about, and that's what we're doing over in Spokane, because
We don't like our results.
yeah, get on the bus. That's one of Petey's favorite things is, we're like the bus, and the candidate's like the bus driver, right? So it doesn't matter which bus you get on, we're still on the bus. And the bus driver, whatever the candidate is, goes, okay, and I want you to go canvassing over here, and I want you to go. So we're the bus, they're the driver.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. So anyway, and we are connected with Rise and Run, you know, all the Washington State Democrats and everything, and it's county Democrats and safety in numbers. That's another one of Petey's things, you know, the raft of sea otters and stuff. And knocking on doors, and you know, that's kind of what we do, knocking on doors and making phone calls. And we engage with everybody. We engage with everybody because, for instance, healthcare, everybody needs healthcare. And even the most solid Republicans will talk to you if you're talking about healthcare.
And pretty much everybody has children.
Yes, well, a lot of people don't have children anymore. A lot of children, my children's age, are not having children because they're too scared to bring them into this world. Even, you know, I'm surprised I have 2 great-grandchildren now. I'm surprised that I have them because my kids are pretty serious about how bad it is out there. So, yeah, I think we're pretty close to the end of this one.